It began with an unmistakable sense of defiance. "They won't even give me a permit for the parties," he lamented, his voice tinged with both frustration and pride. To him, these weren't just parties. They were cultural events, a gathering point for people from all walks of life. "They don't want me to throw the parties no more," he continued, pausing only to make his message clear. "But we ain't gonna stop." This wasn't just rebellion for the sake of noise. For years, Diddy, formerly known as Puff Daddy Sean Combs, crafted an empire rooted in celebration. His parties weren't merely events, they were experiences, often dubbed legendary, sometimes mythic. From yacht soirees on the Mediterranean to glitzy affairs in Beverly Hills, they transcended the ordinary, redefining what it meant to be a host. Yet now, whispers of something darker are echoing beneath the beats. Those same events, once symbolizing power and unity, have become shrouded in controversy. Inside the mansion, a luxurious front for a hidden world. In a previous exposé, jaw-dropping secrets within Diddy's sprawling mansion were unearthed. This wasn't just a home, it was a palace of indulgence. Hidden cameras, over 1,000 bottles of baby oil stored with inexplicable care, and strange artwork hinting at ancient symbolism littered the estate. But the real revelation lay beneath the polished floors. What was once dismissed as wild rumor is beginning to seem alarmingly real. A secret network of tunnels hidden beneath the mansion, rumored to stretch across multiple properties. With new findings emerging from an ongoing FBI investigation, the narrative has shifted from urban legend to verified suspicion. These aren't just whispers anymore. The tunnels, and the culture they supposedly supported, are very real. FBI revelations, a turn in the investigation. Interestingly, the FBI didn't go looking for tunnels at first. What started as a standard financial investigation, possibly related to tax evasion, misreported assets, or improper business dealings, took a bizarre turn. Agents combing through documents reportedly stumbled upon architectural schematics that made little sense for a residence, even one as extravagant as Diddy's. These blueprints, full of coded references and concealed entries, hinted at an elaborate underground network. Upon deeper investigation, the agents uncovered the physical reality: massive, opulently designed tunnels, concealed behind biometric locked doors, winding beneath the estate, like arteries beneath skin. Tunnels of luxury, a hidden world beneath the surface. These weren't basic concrete corridors designed for security or utility. The tunnels beneath Diddy's mansion were a marvel of design and decadence. Picture walls lined with rare imported hardwoods, soft velvet furnishings that absorbed sound, and climate-controlled systems that kept the air perfectly conditioned at all times. Diffusers released custom-blended scents into the atmosphere, creating an environment as intoxicating as it was mysterious. Light fixtures, designed by European artisans, cast ambient glows that could shift in color depending on the mood. In some tunnels, the floors were covered in plush carpeting. In others, they were made of onyx tile imported from the Middle East. This wasn't merely an architectural experiment. It was a psychological one. Every element was intended to disorient the senses and lull visitors into an alternate state of mind. Rooms of fantasy, themed escapes for the elite. Some rooms were themed, almost obsessively. One space reportedly resembled an ancient Egyptian tomb, complete with faux golden sarcophagi, hieroglyph-inscribed walls, and torches flickering with artificial flames. Another room, nicknamed the Observatory, boasted a fiber-optic ceiling that replicated the constellations as they appeared on the night of Diddy's birth. One tunnel curved into a massive room styled like a 1970s disco lounge, complete with a rotating floor and walls that pulsed in rhythm with the music. There were rooms for music, rooms for silence, rooms designed for sensual exploration, and even rooms that mimicked natural settings. A rainforest, a desert, a winter wonderland, complete with smells, sounds, and temperatures to match. An alternate reality, designed for the privileged few. Everything about the tunnels spoke to one truth. This wasn't just about secrecy, it was about control and transformation. Guests didn't just walk through these halls, they were transported. Within these underground chambers, the laws of the outside world no longer applied. Here, anonymity reigned, and power could be exercised without accountability. Access required more than an invite. Biometric scans, fingerprints, retina recognition, and voice verification stood guard against uninvited guests. This level of security was more befitting a government facility or tech billionaire's server vault than a party space. Pavara and the acoustics. Art meets indulgence. One curious historical footnote involves Pavara, a close friend of Diddy and a world-renowned tenor. He often practiced in the tunnels, drawn by their exceptional acoustics. His voice, it's said, would echo through the corridors with haunting clarity, transforming them into an underground opera hall. This detail, while whimsical, also speaks to the tunnel's duality. They could be a venue for artistic brilliance one moment, and something far more shadowy the next. The allegations, from revelry to ritual. While some maintain these tunnels were nothing more than elaborate playgrounds for the rich and famous, others aren't so convinced. Whispers have grown louder about what truly occurred behind those reinforced doors. Eyewitnesses, anonymous sources, and online investigators have all hinted at bizarre rituals, disturbing performances, and behavior that skirted the boundaries of legality and morality. Some rooms were allegedly equipped with hidden surveillance systems, microphones embedded into walls, cameras concealed within decor, all feeding data into a central AI-monitored control room. These weren't just for monitoring security. They were allegedly used to record the guests themselves. The implications of such recordings are chilling. Blackmail, coercion, or even the collection of private data for unknown purposes. A list of who's who. The guest book of the underground. Who entered these tunnels? That's perhaps the most explosive question. While official confirmation is scarce, rumors implicate actors, musicians, CEOs, and even politicians. These weren't tabloid regulars, but influential figures with pristine public images. Individuals who could disappear for a few hours or even days and return to the spotlight as though nothing had happened. Imagine Jay-Z deep in conversation with Ron Perlman in a neon-lit sci-fi lounge. Picture a tech mogul brushing shoulders with a Hollywood power agent beneath the surface of a city that worships image over truth. These were the kinds of encounters fostered in Diddy's secretive playground. The bigger picture. Patterns of power and protection. What makes this revelation especially disconcerting is its familiarity. Diddy's growing list of allegations has led some to compare him to other powerful figures brought down by scandal, most notably Harvey Weinstein. Once shielded by wealth, influence, and a carefully curated public image, Weinstein's crimes were eventually exposed, leading to multiple convictions and a dramatic fall from grace. Could Diddy be next? If the FBI's findings continue to support these underground claims, the consequences could be devastating. Not just for him, but for an entire ecosystem of elites who participated, enabled, or turned a blind eye. Hollywood's culture of secrets. Hollywood has long been a town built on secrets. Behind the glitz lies a brutal machinery of control, manipulation, and image crafting. Celebrities are groomed not only to entertain, but to distract, to maintain illusions. When those illusions crack, The consequences are seismic. The discovery of these tunnels isn't just a curiosity. It's a symbol of the lengths the rich and powerful go to protect their desires. The real story isn't just about parties or tunnels, it's about how power manifests behind closed doors. It's about the infrastructure built not to serve society, but to shield select individuals from scrutiny. The origins of suspicion, strange construction in the hills. It all began quietly, almost too quietly, in Los Angeles' prestigious Holmby Hills neighborhood. Locals first raised eyebrows when construction crews appeared at Diddy's expansive estate under the cover of darkness. Heavy machinery was brought in and operated during unusual hours, late-night excavations that quickly drew attention. This wasn't a simple remodel or landscaping project. The work was extensive, secretive, and uncharacteristic even for a multi-million-dollar celebrity compound. Speculation erupted. Was he building a panic room, a luxury vault, or some cutting-edge wellness facility hidden from the world? But soon, the rumors turned darker and stranger. Talk of tunnels began circulating. These weren't ordinary tunnels either. Some claimed they linked Diddy's property with other infamous locations in Los Angeles, like the Playboy Mansion, and, in a stretch of the imagination, even Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch. Rituals, power, and the allure of secrecy. Once the idea of underground passages took hold, so did more ominous theories. Whispers emerged that the tunnels weren't simply a means of transportation or a tool for privacy, but were the setting for clandestine ceremonies. Rumors described exclusive gatherings, what some dubbed freak-off parties, where phones were banned, identities cloaked, and loyalty to an inner circle was tested in unsettling ways. Descriptions of ritualistic activities soon followed. Allegedly, these were not just indulgent affairs, but ceremonial events meant to solidify allegiances and exercise dominance. Some sources claimed participants were required to perform specific acts to gain trust or favor, actions that bound them in secrecy, reinforcing the idea that entry into this world came at a cost far beyond monetary wealth. A dual-purpose design, luxury and control. One of the most intriguing aspects of the tunnel system allegedly constructed beneath Diddy's sprawling estate is its deliberate and contrasting architectural design. While the very idea of underground passageways evokes secrecy and hidden intentions, it's the interior diversity of these tunnels that truly deepens the mystery. According to multiple reports and speculative accounts, the subterranean layout isn't uniform or purely utilitarian. Instead, it appears to serve dual and perhaps conflicting purposes: indulgence and control. Descriptions from anonymous insiders and architectural observers suggest that some sections of the tunnels resemble underground lounges or sanctuaries for the ultra-rich. Walls adorned with velvet drapes, Persian rugs lining the floors, and the unmistakable glow of custom ambient lighting create an atmosphere of surreal detachment. These areas are reportedly outfitted with plush cushions, low-slung furniture, and scented air systems engineered to relax the senses. Such details paint the picture of a space intentionally designed to overwhelm the mundane and replace it with something theatrical, something almost otherworldly. In these chambers, reality seems suspended. This isn't just wealth, it's escapism at its most refined. Yet this dreamlike ambiance sharply contrasts with other rooms buried within the same network. In stark opposition to the opulence of the lounge spaces, some areas are said to be cold and austere, clinical in every sense of the word. Concrete walls stripped of any decoration, unflinching fluorescent lighting, surveillance infrastructure, and functional furnishings evoke an entirely different purpose. These sterile environments, some speculate, may have been used for observation, psychological conditioning, or even initiation rites, if the more conspiratorial whispers are to be believed. The austere tone suggests a space engineered to create pressure, not comfort. This dichotomy, luxury and severity, does not appear to be accidental. On the contrary, it implies a deeply intentional design, possibly reflecting the dual roles these tunnels may have played: a refuge for indulgence and a stage for control. The shifting atmosphere from one chamber to the next suggests not just a change in aesthetic, but a change in purpose. When one considers how environments can influence mood and behavior, the implications become even more chilling. It hints that the tunnels may have been crafted not just to hide, but to manipulate. Whether these areas were used for psychological dominance, ceremonial rituals, or simply privacy at an obscene scale, the contrasting architecture adds a layer of sophistication and darkness to the theory. It presents the idea that this underground world was not just an extension of the mansion above, but something altogether different. A parallel domain with its own rules, its own power dynamics, and perhaps even its own hierarchy. A star-studded guest list, fueling public fascination further, are the persistent rumors about the types of guests who may have walked through these subterranean corridors. These aren't mere celebrities seeking to avoid a camera flash. They're individuals whose names hold global weight. Tech billionaires, award-winning actors, venture capitalists, and even high-ranking government officials have been tied to the legend, though evidence remains elusive and mostly circumstantial. What makes these rumors so potent is not just the celebrity factor, but the psychological dissonance they evoke. These are people who already exist in a world of near unlimited access. Private jets, remote islands, exclusive clubs, and elite events are part of their everyday reality. So, naturally, the question arises: what could possibly exist underground that they can't access above? That question is the fulcrum upon which public suspicion balances. The unsettling answer many arrive at, consciously or not, is that what happens underground is what must remain hidden. Whether it's extreme forms of entertainment, taboo rituals, or secret alliances, the tunnels begin to symbolize something far more primal than opulence: secrecy born from necessity. The notion of loyalty being tested behind closed doors, of ceremonies designed to bind participants in complicity, starts to sound less like fiction and more like a mechanism of power. With each whispered name added to the alleged guest list, the story gains weight. Not because the claims are substantiated, but because the mere possibility that such people could be involved shatters public assumptions about how power is wielded and protected. Hollywood's long history with hidden passageways. To understand why stories like these resonate so deeply in the public imagination, one must look at Hollywood's long-standing fascination with secrecy. The city, after all, has always walked a fine line between myth and reality. Tales of secret rendezvous, hidden lovers, and forbidden deals have swirled around Los Angeles for nearly a century. And at the heart of many of these stories, hidden doors and underground passageways. During the 1920s and 1930s, the Prohibition era gave rise to a thriving culture of speakeasies, illegal bars often hidden behind walls, in basements, or below existing businesses. These underground venues were frequently connected by tunnels, allowing patrons and proprietors to escape raids or slip between parties undetected. Many of these spaces still exist beneath the city today, relics of a time when secrecy was a matter of legal survival. This tradition of covert architecture carried over into Hollywood's golden age. Elite hotels like the Beverly Hills Hotel and Chateau Marmont were said to offer discreet passageways and service corridors, allowing celebrities to come and go without public scrutiny. Marilyn Monroe, Frank Sinatra, and Howard Hughes are just a few of the legends tied to these hushed escape routes. No property, however, looms larger in the cultural imagination than the Playboy Mansion. For decades, the estate was shrouded in rumors of hidden doors, trap rooms, and tunnels linking it to the homes of close friends and regular guests. In 2015, a set of supposed blueprints leaked online, suggesting that tunnels once connected the mansion to properties owned by Jack Nicholson, Warren Beatty, and James Caan. While the plans were never verified, the very suggestion felt plausible. And that's all rumor needs to take root. The enduring allure of these stories lies in what they imply: that Hollywood's elite don't just live behind gates. They move in hidden ways, shielded from the consequences that govern the rest of us. Secret tunnels are more than architectural quirks. They're metaphors for privilege, impunity, and the invisible lines of influence running beneath the surface of fame. In that context, the allegations surrounding Diddy's tunnels feel like a continuation of this narrative, updated for the digital age. Whether fact or fiction, they reflect a long-standing suspicion that the rich and powerful are not only different in wealth, but in access to an entirely separate reality. A reality literally and figuratively beneath our feet. Neverland Ranch and the outer limits of speculation. Of all the locations tied to this underground narrative, Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch stands out as the most implausible, and yet most captivating, connection. The distance between Holmby Hills and Neverland spans over 100 miles, making a literal tunnel link absurd from a logistical standpoint. Still, conspiracy theories thrive not on feasibility, but fascination. Neverland, with its own history of secrecy and allegations, has always been a fertile ground for rumor. Tales of hidden bunkers, train systems, and secure facilities beneath the amusement park-like estate have circulated for decades. That people would imagine a tunnel extending from Neverland to Diddy's estate isn't just about logistics. It's about weaving together the mythos of two enigmatic figures in pop culture, bound by mystery and wealth. The FBI raid and the media firestorm, things took a decisive turn in March 2014 when federal agents raided Diddy's estate. The headlines practically wrote themselves. Allegations of human trafficking, racketeering, and possession of unspecified, suspicious items were floated in the media, though little was officially confirmed. Yet the raid was enough to push the tunnel narrative from fringe speculation into mainstream conversation. Photos leaked to the internet appeared to show portions of subterranean structures, while drone footage captured strange architecture beneath the estate. Some media outlets, both reputable and dubious, reported the discovery of an underwater tunnel leading to a hidden grotto. Though that may sound more like a luxury amenity than a covert corridor, the term tunnel alone was enough to fuel the fire. Soon, doctored images began circulating online, a fake CNN headline, maps of imaginary tunnel networks, and supposed blueprints linking Diddy's property to half of Hollywood. TikTok creators and YouTube conspiracy channels exploded with content, stitching together everything from old celebrity interviews to drone footage, spinning increasingly elaborate tales. A culture obsessed with secrets. What's notable isn't necessarily whether the tunnels exist, but how much public attention they command. The collective imagination is captivated by the idea that behind the glitz of red carpets and social media filters lies something far more obscure. A hidden realm where the ultra-wealthy play by their own rules, unchecked and unseen. In this context, tunnels become symbols. They represent more than physical passageways. They stand for the layers of secrecy that insulate the elite from public accountability. Whether they are used for safety, discretion, or something far more sinister, Their mystique endures because they suggest there's always more beneath the surface, both literally and metaphorically. The power of speculation and the future of the story. To this day, the exact purpose and scope of Diddy's tunnels remain unclear. Official reports are vague, and few, if any, credible sources have verified the more outlandish claims. Yet, that hasn't stopped the story from growing. In fact, the lack of definitive answers may be the story's greatest strength. As long as questions remain, the public's fascination will endure. Whether these tunnels are simply lavish architectural quirks or gateways to something darker, their legend is now etched into the folklore of Hollywood. And in a city built on illusion, sometimes perception is more powerful than truth.